Your feet stop. You're standing in a doorway, maybe a grocery store aisle, maybe your kitchen, and your brain is screaming, move, but your feet are not listening, not even an inch. And then the panic starts. Because honestly, the freezing itself isn't always the worst part. Sometimes the worst part is what we do next. And almost everybody makes the same 5 mistakes. I made every single one of them. And mistake number 2, it can actually make the freeze physically last longer.
Welcome to Living with Parkinson's. The good, the bad, and the reality. Real talk, real life, real community with Bryce Perry. Let's begin.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. I'm Bryce, and this is Living with Parkinson's, the good, the bad, and the reality. And today we're talking about freezing episodes. Not just what they are, but the things we accidentally do that quietly make them worse. And if you're newly diagnosed hearing this topic and already feeling nervous, don't panic. Not everybody experiences freezing the same way. Some people barely deal with it, some people deal with it more, and some people learn strategies early and manage it incredibly well. Parkinson's is not a one-size-fits-all. But let's get right into it. Mistake number 1 is waiting for it to pass. This was me for years. I'd freeze, and I'd stand there hoping my feet would magically restart. Okay, any second now. But freezing doesn't usually respond well to passive waiting. Your brain needs a new cue. That's the key. A visual cue or a rhythm cue or a auditory cue. Even counting out loud. 1, 2, 3, step. I still use cues today because freezing isn't weakness. It's a communication problem between the brain and the movement system. And cues help reroute the signal. Sometimes I'll focus on a crack in the sidewalk or a tile on the floor or a line in the parking lot. Anything that gives my brain a target instead of just panic. Because the longer the freeze lasts, the harder people tend to fight it emotionally. And trust me, I understand that feeling. And if you understand that feeling, give me a me too in the comments. It's not fun. It's not fun. All right. Mistake number 2 is trying to force the step. Now, this one feels natural. You get frustrated and you try to muscle through it. Push harder. Force that leg forward. But usually, the tension makes the freeze worse. I remember freezing once in a busy area and trying so hard to force movement that my whole body tightened up like a rusty shopping cart. The trick is usually not push harder, it's reset the rhythm. Shift your weight. Start rocking gently side to side. Breathe. Cue the movement. One neurologist explained freezing to me like a traffic jam in the brain. The signal to move is there, but it gets stuck at the intersection. So when we panic and we tense up and we try to force the movement harder, it's almost like adding more cars into the traffic jam. That's why rhythm helps. That's why cueing helps. That's why calm helps. You're not weak. Your brain just needs a detour route sometimes. And honestly, understanding that changed the way I looked at freezing completely. All right, mistake number 3, panicking. Now, this one is brutal because it happens fast, especially in public. You freeze, people are waiting, now you're embarrassed, now adrenaline kicks in, and suddenly you're frozen and you're panicking. That combination is awful. I remember once pretending to look at items on a shelf because I was frozen and I didn't want people to realize what was happening. And meanwhile, inside my head, I'm thinking, please move. Please don't let people notice. Please don't ask if I'm okay. And then somebody walks around you frustrated because they think you're just standing there blocking the aisle. And you're already embarrassed enough. Man, gosh, that's real life with Parkinson's. But panic recruits energy away from movement. So the goal becomes interrupting panic early. One breath, one visual target, one cue. Sometimes I literally look at the line on the floor and I tell myself, step over that. Not the whole room, not the destination, just that line. And if that doesn't work, I say it out loud. Bryce, step over that. That's how you got to get her done. All right. Mistake number 4 is avoiding the places where you freeze. Okay. Because we all do it, right? Doorways, crowds, narrow spaces, busy environments. A lot of people slowly start avoiding places where freezings happened before. And honestly, I get it. I totally get it. Because once freezing embarrasses you somewhere, it's like PTSD. Your brain remembers it. That's human. But avoidance teaches the brain that that environment is dangerous. So freezing becomes more likely there next time. Now, the one thing that helped me was practicing freezing strategies at home before I needed them publicly. It's like almost like rehearsing because panic gets smaller when the brain already has a plan. And there have been moments where Carmen could tell I was freezing before I even realized it fully myself. And sometimes she'll calmly say, "Okay, take your time. Not panic, not rush me, just calm." And honestly, that calm matters more than people realize. Because when somebody around you panics, it almost gives your nervous system permission to panic too. And I'll tell you the reverse of that. It was probably just a few weeks ago. We were out at a dinner party thing, and I was carrying my plate, and I haven't frozen for about a year. And I was carrying my plate back to the table, and I got really close to the table, and there was a door to another room and a little metal stopper right there, a little like those metal stoppers that stop the doors. And I took one look at it, and I froze. My foot stopped right beside it. So my foot was right against this stopper. The stopper was like that. My foot was right against it. And Carmen saw me, and normally she's so like relaxed, but she came and sometimes she can give me like a little push sometimes to get me going, and that helps me as well. But this time she kind of took my hand and she tried to yank me. Well, she didn't realize the stopper was right in front of my foot. My foot hit the stopper, and I tumbled over, and there I went. Crash, bang, kaboom. And we both learned a lesson in that moment. We both had to remember and remind ourselves that we need to stay calm, right? And we need to go slow and stay calm. All right. That was a me thing. Okay. Mistake number 5 is not telling your neurologist how bad it really is. Now, this one matters more than people realize. A lot of us minimize freezing in appointments. Yeah, I get stuck sometimes. Meanwhile, you're freezing in kitchens, you're freezing in parking lots, you're freezing in the grocery store, in doorways, beside the bed, you name it. Freezing patterns matter. Medication timing matters. Stress patterns matter. And sometimes adjustments can really help. Honestly, a 20-second video of a freeze can tell a neurologist more than 10 minutes of explaining it. So document it if you can, because you deserve support for it. And I think sometimes people avoid like talking honestly about freezing because it feels vulnerable. It feels really scary. It's like somehow admitting that it makes the disease more real. But your neurologist can only help with the version of Parkinson's they actually see. So again, if I'm standing there, I would just whip my phone out and just start filming it. Say, "Look, here I'm stuck, doc. This is where I was. This is what was going on." 20 seconds, show it to them. You would be amazed at what they can deduct from a video. Okay, now it's time for Carmen's Care Partner Corner, and this is what Carmen, my wife, wrote for me to read to you today. When Bryce freezes, my instinct used to be grabbing him right away or rushing him. But I learned pretty quickly that calm works better than panic. A simple cue, a calm voice, giving him time. Those things help far more than pressure. And one thing I tell care partners is this: try not to fire 10 instructions at once. Because when someone freezes, their brain is already overwhelmed trying to restart the movement. So instead of "move your foot," "come on, careful, step forward, watch the doorway, be careful," try one calm cue instead. Something simple like, okay, honey, shift your weight, or take your time. We're not in a rush. And honestly, your energy matters more than you realize. If you stay calm, it helps the person with Parkinson's feel safer too. But trust me, sometimes I forget that lesson. And I think Bryce already mentioned it, so I won't again. But sometimes I forget that lesson and it does not work out well. Oh, well. Thanks, Carmen. Thanks for throwing yourself under the bus. That was awesome. Anyway, no, that was great. No, appreciate that. Thank you. And you're right. A calm voice in that moment keeps me calm. It keeps me and it gets me out of what I'm in quicker than I could before. And for those of you handling freezing on your own, I want you to build a freeze strategy, not a generic one, yours. What cues work for you? Counting, music, stepping sideways, laser line, rhythm. Write it down because during a freeze, your brain doesn't want to problem solve. It wants familiarity. And if you want deeper conversations and support around this stuff, you know what's in the link below, the club. It's all there. Get in there, get into the solo club and start to other solos just like yourself. You can help each other out. It really, really is. It's real people, it's real conversations every single day. Now, if someone you care about struggles with freezing, please share this episode with them because the next time freezing happens, maybe they will have a strategy instead of panic. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? There's lots here. We're building a community around Parkinson's real life, and it's here for you. So come join us. And you know what time it is. You made it this far. You have unlocked the Bryce-ism of today's episode. And I hope you enjoy this one. With Parkinson's, nothing humbles a grown adult faster than losing an argument with a doorway. There you are. All right, until next time, I want you to keep showing up. I want you to keep laughing. I want you to keep being real. And I want you to keep doing life today. I love you, and I'll see you on the next episode.